Okay, well, I think it could be new bike time. As you may have seen, the Ostro VAM 2024 has just been released, as I predicted a few months ago, if you look at the video that I made here. And obviously, if you read the blurb, it's faster, lighter, makes you a better person, all of those things. And you need to take it, I think, definitely with a big pinch of salt. Initially, I thought, is it really going to be worth changing? Are there that many differences? What's the point? This bike has done me really well. It's one of the first to be sold in Europe. I've had it 3 years now, over 3 years, and I really like it. It does everything really well. It's very light, it climbs well, it's aero, it's great on the flats, it handles well, looks nice. So I've got no complaints with this bike at all. It's really nice. But new shiny things are always interesting, and I do like the paint job on the new one. I think it's very nice. The one which has the white front and the dark rear. And according to them, it's more aero. There have been various changes which you would have to think, yeah, okay, that should be more aero, such as the very sexy kind of feminine figure type head tube thing going on here. Slightly deeper fork legs. Everyone said, oh yeah, they're much deeper, but it's only a few mil deeper fork legs because these are already quite deep. The top tube is much finer. It comes down to a much finer point here. They've remodeled the seat tube clamp, which was a problem before. The seat stays, people are saying, oh, they're super fine now, but they're not actually any finer than these, which are already quite fine. And they've actually raised the position of them up to here now for whatever reason. And I noticed also that the chainstays were slightly longer, like this, a bit thicker, maybe thinner in the width dimension, but longer here. So a few little tweaks which, yeah, you can see should make it more aero. As far as the weight goes, they have been saying 820 grams for the frame in a 54. Now, Factor really do not have a good track record on the weights that they promise that you will get. And when you're spending this amount of money on a bike, it's about 5,000 euros for the frame set, which is the seat post, the frame, the handlebar, which is a lot of money. And they're telling you it's 820 grams for a size 54. That's kind of what you want to get, really. And I mean, I'm not convinced really, because they said that the original Factor was supposed to be, it was around actually 780 grams was what they said originally. And this one here was one of the early ones, and the early ones were the lightest ones. And this particular frame is 826 grams. And it's the flicker, so it doesn't have any paint. So any of the painted models are already at least 50 grams to 100 grams heavier just because of the paint. So most Ostros recently have been coming out in the high 800s, if not 900 grams. So given this new one is kind of at least semi-painted and that it is more aero, you have to wonder, is it really lighter? If they're saying that the 54 is 820 grams, then the 52 should be lighter than that. Now tomorrow is when we're going to build up the new bike, and that is when we will be able to weigh the new frame and see what the weight truly is. They're saying that the fork is 9 grams heavier because it's a little bit deeper, so fine. But my caveat in buying the new bike is that it should not be heavier than this one. And I'm not convinced that will be the case. So it'll be very interesting tomorrow to find out what the actual weight is. Yeah, so quite excited about that. I mean, I wasn't planning on getting it, but when I walked in the shop and I saw the quite sexy new lines and a new paint job, and given that hopefully I can sell this for a reasonably decent price and I'm just buying the frame, then I don't have to shell out too much cash for it. That's the plan anyway. Yeah, and also, you know, if you look at the white paper that Factor have published, there's a lot of kind of gobbledygook in there, and as always with these things, you just can't really believe 100% everything they're saying, or at least just take it with a pinch of salt, because they're actually saying the original Factor Ostro is more aero than the One. Now the One was the original Factor, which was designed to be fully aero, everything aero about it. It's quite a heavy bike, but it was aero. And everyone always used to say on the forums and everything, oh yeah, but the One is the aero bike, and I wouldn't get an Ostro because I want aero. Now Factor is saying that the Ostro is actually more aero by was it 9%, I think, than the One, which kind of throws things all around. And then previously they said that the new O2 VAM was almost as aero as the Ostro. So does that mean that the O2 VAM is also more aero than the One? I mean, it doesn't really make any sense. You know, they keep kind of chopping and changing which bike is more aero according to which one's been launched or what they want to sell at the time. So yeah, it's not a particularly good look, and it leaves everyone completely confused about which one is the fastest or not. And they're saying that the new Ostro is more aero than a Cervelo S5, which is a very aero bike. How they exactly tested that, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be close to an S5, I would think, but seeing as an S5 is really full out aero, I would be surprised if it's better, but we shall see. Yeah, so watch this space. Tomorrow, new bike, let's build it up, see what it weighs, see how it rides.